Heartland Waterfowl presents Behind the Blind Podcast.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Blind from Champ Camping, Kansas, as we wrap up our traditional Thanksgiving weekend trip to Kansas. The Behind the Blind podcast brought to you by Double TT British Kennels. For more than 20 years, Double TT British Kennels have been importing dogs directly from Great Britain to build superior bloodlines. Their top-of-the-line dogs are proven in the field and major field trials. So learn more at britlabs.com and tell them your buddies from Heartland Waterfowl sent you. Deke Champlin, Deke Champlin, Dakota Thurn, Chaz Michaels, otherwise known as Justin. I'm Ronnie Philips, and this wraps up our final episode of the Behind the Blind here in Kansas before we head to Oklahoma. More on that here in a bit. Also, more on how you can be a winner of a Heartland Waterfowl Swag Pack from our online store at heartlandwaterfowl.com. Today, it did not go anything near like we hoped it would. It was actually quite disappointing. We ended up shooting a couple honkers in a field that was holding about 500 the night before that Deke Champlin scouted. And
when you say a couple, you mean
literally two.
Couple.
Literally two birds. Maybe a couple different reasons for why that happened. Deke, why don't you tell us why you think we weren't able to get more birds today?
I don't really know. I mean, there were some hunters that were like on the river that were shooting, but otherwise they just didn't want to go.
Was there really? I didn't hear any shots. There were a few other shots over there? Interesting. Dakota, what's your thoughts on today's hunt?
I think it had to do with being on the pivot. It just seemed like they hung up at like 60 and then had like a certain wall where they either went left, worked us left, or worked us right, and no wind. So hide and not that our hide was bad, like we weren't hidden, but I just don't think it was in the most ideal spot for them with being under the pivot. But it was our only option. So it's like you have to do that, but I think that had an effect. I mean, obviously the no wind deal. I don't want to beat that horse. They didn't want to finish. Yeah, they just didn't want to finish.
So the problem with this particular field is it's very, very big. It's a cornfield that I would classify it as being raked, meaning there were corn stalks there, but there wasn't any of the trash that you would typically get from a cornfield. And there was rye that had been drilled into it, which I think the greens was probably the most attractive part to the geese and why they were there, and any kind of residual corn. But it was so big with the large irrigation pivot going through the middle of it, and they were feeding in there and fairly close to the pivot, but we were setting up in our panel blinds, not directly under the pivot, but pretty darn close. And I don't know. Maybe Champlin can give us his thoughts, but my theory is kind of the same as Dakota. There was something about flying too low over that pivot. They wanted that ability to swing around and over us a little bit lower, but it almost kind of freaked them out where they would get a little bit higher and just something didn't feel right to them to want to finish in that hole. Now, granted, we didn't have any wind today. That doesn't help. And had we had a pretty stiff wind, that would get them down and into the hole. But because we didn't have any wind, I think that pivot played a part in them not wanting to finish. But what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Pivot, biggest thing on other than that would be no wind. It didn't look bad, but we had the sun at our back.
Right.
So then if you got out in the decoys and looked back toward, you're just a giant dark blob underneath the pivot. But like you said a little bit ago, that field is so big. It's a mile long, half a mile to 3/4 of a mile wide almost, I think. Layouts were not an option. Like you can't hide. If you had maybe 3 dudes, you could hide in there with layouts, but
right.
So,
and that's why I brought up the fact that the field was raked, because even if we decided to use layouts and be a little bit more in the middle of the field, we still are going to stick out like a sore thumb just because there wasn't anything there to really,
Edge-wise, we've hunted an edge on it before and been successful. But like you said earlier, they were all right out there by the pivot last night when I watched them. So to go to an edge, you're trying to pull them basically half a mile farther than they were going the night before, just to be on an edge.
It also seemed like, there was also birds coming from different locations. We had birds from the river. We had birds that were kind of I don't want to say coming from town, but on maybe the edge of town that were working, and some that got up, or then the birds from the lake, they were like, some got up and they knew where they wanted to go. Like immediately they were already flying in formation. Is like they wanted nothing to do with us. And then there were some birds that did something different. The birds that we thought were going to be ours did something different, and they knew they wanted to go there. And then the ones that wanted to come to us, we kind of got screwed by the fact that we didn't have the wind and we were under that pivot. So
it wasn't a lack of birds. We saw birds.
Oh, well, a lot of birds. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it was kind of a kick to the nuts, really, because, when we got here, we were wondering if there was going to be enough birds, because we had been experiencing, warm temperatures. And then that's the other thing too, man. Like, we're glad we got here when we did, but in the perfect situation is that you're getting here a week after they've already arrived. They've created a rhythm. They've what's the word I'm looking for? Pattern. They've created a pattern, and they know where they want to be. They know where they want to feed. And that's anywhere you hunt. It seems like when, birds first migrate in, you always get excited, but it seems like you need a couple, 2 or 3 days for them to kind of figure out where they're at, what they want to do before it actually becomes successful. So all that to be said, there's not much more to elaborate on. It was a disappointing hunt, but it was an absolutely great trip. We did have some great successful days, and we've got a great video that Dakota's going to put together, and it's going to be released, I guess, a week from today. Is that right? I think it's a week from today.
Sunday?
Yeah, today's Sunday.
Yeah, so that puts us at the 8th.
Right. So does that sound right?
No, it's Sunday. Yeah, the 8th.
Yeah. So Sunday, the 8th of December at noon, you'll get to see our traditional Thanksgiving hunt here in Kansas at Champ Camp. Moving on, we do have Oklahoma coming up next. That is going to happen very quickly. We're going to be leaving on Friday for that. We're going to get into that a little bit more, but let's just move on and have some fun with this conversation by going with the ducked up question of the day. It's brought to you by Dirty Duck Coffee. If your coffee sucks, it ain't the duck. They are the preferred coffee of choice in the blind and around the breakfast table for Heartland Waterfowl and waterfowl hunters in every flyway. Save on a variety of blends by using HW10. That's the promo code at dirtyduckcoffee.com. What's the ducked up question of the day?
So I wanted to do something around involving Thanksgiving. So,
sure.
I know it's December now, but what is everybody most thankful for right now?
Oh, wow. Okay, Deke.
I'm not ready yet.
You're not ready yet?
Uh-huh.
You don't even look like you're awake.
Yeah, I fell asleep in the truck.
All right, I'll go first. I don't normally go first. What am I most thankful for? This is going to be very cliche, but I'm very thankful for this brotherhood. Like, truly, I really, really am. With the hustle and bustle of everyday life as being a dad and dad of 3 kids, my daughter's 11. She's on the go all the time with dance and school. My boys are very young. They're 3 and 2. So if you've been a parent of young children, you understand how chaotic that can be, especially when there are 2 boys that close in age. So it's not that I don't love my kids and my family. I'm obviously very thankful for them, but I'm also thankful to take a little break and have this as a career and occupation to where I get to have this much fun, regardless of how good or bad the hunting is, because the brotherhood, the camaraderie with my friends, my boys, makes up for any day that the hunting sucks. And there's just something special about coming to this place in Kansas. This is kind of where it all started for Heartland Waterfowl. Logan became friends with Champ and Everett. Logan introduces me to them. I start getting more experience in waterfowl hunting by hunting with them. And then all the pieces start slowly coming together. And now here we are in our 12th season. So we are very blessed to get to travel all across the country and hunt a lot of different places. But I'm originally from Kansas. This, where we're at, is not far from my hometown. And I love to, it's like coming home. You know, my best friend from Marysville, who was the best man in my wedding, he was a childhood friend. He was able to make the trip down to hunt with us during this trip. Thankfully, he got to experience a great hunt. He'd never hunted snow geese before. So to see that excitement and the smile on his face, and to feel that love, of gratitude from him that he got to experience something new and really cool, the gratefulness that I have to Champ, for letting him come down and be a part of that and engaging with somebody new who's kind of an outsider. Man, I'm just going on a whole list of things here that I'm grateful for. But man, I just really I truly do love these guys, you guys. And I look forward to, regardless of how bad I mean, granted, we're here to do this, right? We're here to make, to kill birds on camera. But when it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen for everybody, we all understand that it's not always about the killing. In fact, it's not about the killing. It's about the relationships and that camaraderie. So
no doubt.
Hopefully,
it's a good one.
I drug that out a really long time, and hopefully giving you guys time to think about what you're grateful for this Thanksgiving, Justin.
Oh, I'd say my lady and my kids first and foremost. Man upstairs, all that good stuff. But outside of that, I mean, I started a new job in April, and last year I was able to do, I think, 4 trips, something like that. This year, probably be a little more limited with my time. I mean, you guys have been at this since August.
Yeah.
This is my first trip of the year. So being back in duck camp, and I think I've been coming out here for 10 years or something like that every Thanksgiving. And so, I'm grateful to you guys for having me out and just being back in camp. We've had a lot of good laughs this week. We've had years where we've smashed a lot more birds, but, I have a great time every time I'm here. So appreciate it. Love you guys too.
Yeah, love.
For sure.
I would say what I'm thankful for right now, definitely, and I don't know why I've been thinking of it. I think it maybe it's because I'm getting a little bit older. I know I'm not as old as you guys, but I'm super thankful for health. Like, legit, and I know this is so small when it comes to actual health problems, but last week, during deer season, we had a hunt camp, similar to this. And I had poison ivy all on my stomach, all on my belly, all the way up my chest, and all the way on my arm. I just say that to say, like, whenever I had that, I just was like, oh my gosh, I miss just being normal. Like when you're sick, you're just like, can I just be okay? And then that also with Logan being down right now, it's just like, I feel for him.
Yeah, Logan wasn't even able to join us in the field today because he got under the weather.
Yeah, so whenever you get sick, this is a long season. We're grinding, we're out in the cold, all that. So just to be healthy right now, I'm thrilled for that.
Did we give you enough time to think of what you're grateful for? Go for it, buddy.
I'm thankful for being able to hunt with you guys. Like, it's amazing. And hunting snuggies.
That's it? You good?
Yeah.
All right. Hand that over to your dad. Champ, what are you
it's not always best to go last, because when you do think of something,
somebody always says
it gets picked out. But
you can mention it again anyway.
I mean, biggest thing, friends and family. Being fortunate enough to be able to do this, go a lot of places, meet a lot of new people, try to teach this kid what it's all about.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't realize how exactly spoiled he is.
He'll learn one day.
But maybe one day when he starts doing it on his own, he'll get humbled again and figure out that all these older guys didn't teach him everything that we knew. Sure. He's going to have to learn something on his own. But
that's right.
Friends and family, like Dakota said, health, just being able to do this. Get up every day and do something.
You bet. Absolutely.
As long as you can get up every day.
Q, let's send it to you.
Panel.
Man, it's hard. Just like Champ said, it's hard to pick something after everybody's gone, but it's definitely just being with you guys. You know what I mean? I can't think of anything else really. So,
Hunter, you got something for us?
Yeah, like everyone else been saying, same thing. Pretty much. I mean, there's so many things that I'm thankful for, of course. I'd probably just like having you guys out to help me learn, because I mean, like I said before on the other podcast, is like I've never done this stuff before.
Yeah.
So it's super, super, super cool, and I'm so thankful to have and that's just with cameras too.
Even if you learn the wrong way, you're still learning.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'll caveat that a little bit, being that this was your first time. It's not your first time filming. Obviously, you filmed for your dad on HB, Heartland Bow Hunter. which we are obviously a product of. What was something that was kind of new that you learned, or something about this experience that really stood out for you? I'm putting you on the spot, I realize that, but is there anything that really comes to top of mind that you can go back and you'll like share with your dad, like, this was really cool, this was something I learned?
Probably, honestly, I mean, today when like the geese weren't landing, of course, but like there was probably 6 to 8 groups like just flying all around us. So you're like, you're looking around and you don't know which ones are gonna come in first or which ones are. I mean, some of you guys probably do just because you've been doing it for so long.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I'll probably tell them just how freaking amped up I got.
That's awesome. Let's move on to the Outlaw Moment of the Day, brought to you by Outlaw Beer. America deserves a new light beer. Outlaw Beer, which is a mile-high light beer brewed in Tivoli's Brewing Company in Denver, Colorado. They are the official beer of Heartland Waterfowl. Learn more by going to outlawbeer.com. Available in most retailers. If they are not, be sure to ask them to start stocking it immediately. Champ, what's your Outlaw Moment of the Day? Since you didn't want to go last, we'll let you go first.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm bad at these Outlaw Moment things. They're tough. Like you said, put on the spot, go first, think of one.
Does anyone have an Outlaw Moment that comes to the top of their mind?
I mean, you're kind of an outlaw when we got back. I had to bring the plunger down.
There you go. That's a good one.
I was going to say, my Outlaw Moment is clogging the toilets. That was, yeah.
The plumbing around here has been through a lot this week.
I definitely got mine. Champ fed us last night. What's it called?
Fisherman stew.
Fisherman stew. And as he's feeding us, he was more looking forward to not like us being excited or like our taste buds being like, oh my gosh, this is so great. He was excited to what the stew was going to do to us. Like he was poisoning us.
Yeah.
He was like,
It worked for me.
Just wait. And it did. I think it wrecked. I mean,
half of the people here,
twice in the field.
The gas was incredible. Not to be nasty, but there's some farts going on.
Yeah, ripping.
Everywhere.
A bunch of panel blinds with everybody after they eat that is not a good place.
And no wind.
So why did you know you knew that? Why would you think that was a good idea?
Because everybody that has tried it loves it.
It's delicious.
Good. Like,
but there are a lot of things that are good that don't allow you to have a rotten ass the next day.
We haven't had that on a trip in every bit of 5 years or longer.
Can you explain to the people watching what fisherman stew is?
It's just like there's really not much to it. Just hamburger, onions, stewed tomatoes, jalapenos,
somebody's
pork
watching,
and beans.
Somebody's watching this and going, "That sounds like chili."
It's very
beans. Similar
the
to
pork
chili.
and beans is the twist.
The twist, exactly.
Yeah.
When you guys were hunting yesterday, I was scouting, going to go to the grocery store. I asked Logan, fisherman stew, and he took about 10 minutes for him to
10 minutes
to reply to my text. But he goes, F it. Might as well. I was like, all right, we're going to do it.
All right. Well, I've said my Outlaw Moment. You got one, Deke?
Getting to hunt snow geese, pretty much.
Well, that was a couple. You didn't get to hunt. So what's your Outlaw Moment of today?
Oh, today.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I understand. Your Outlaw Moment of the day will probably either be when you get to take a nap or get to go to baseball practice.
Yeah, that's most likely what it is. Like baseball, it's probably going to be good.
Right on. Cool. Chaz, you got one?
You stole mine with the toilet, but it's a good one. I don't know. Probably the pickup. getting out of there as quick as we could.
That's fair.
Deciding the game was over.
Right, exactly.
That you called it early.
Panel, do you guys got an Outlaw Moment of the day?
Probably just being with the boys. It's for the boys today.
Yeah, we're very lovey today. Just like, the boys. It's because of this trip.
Oh, my Lord.
It's funny. This trip is like a big sleepover. It's not like everybody's got their own hotel room or you're over in this room in the lodge. Like it's like sleepover.
On the couches.
So, couches, air mattresses in the basement.
When everybody goes to sleep, like you get those like whenever you're having a sleepover with your boys, like the gigglies of somebody farts last and then everybody's still awake. You know, everybody's laying in their bed, but somebody said something and you're cracking up. Like that doesn't happen all the time. Like you got straight up sleepover hunt camp vibes.
Right on. Hunter, you got an Outlaw Moment?
Yeah, honestly, just filming. I love filming, so it's always a blast.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And I'll say this too. I said this to Q, I think. I can't remember who it was, but we were in the truck and I was like, I had met you before and hung out with your family before, but you were much younger then and you're a young man now. And it's cool to see the maturation process of your life, let alone what you're doing with the camera and how well you've evolved in that. And now to be doing that with us. And I know this is still a very entry level and we'll see where it goes. But like you were a absolute joy to have in camp, man. You fit in great, loved your personality, good attitude. You were passionate. I saw you were just trying to get all kinds of different shots. So for somebody who appreciates effort, you passed that test, man, and I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, they said a lot nicer things to you. Man.
We didn't have a podcast.
Shut up, Q.
We didn't have a podcast when you
Press
came
record.
on. You did all right too, Q. All right, so let's wrap this up. The next time we talk to you, we're going to be at S-Bar Outfitters in Oklahoma. That was the first year that we did it. Was last year. It was an absolutely great trip. Those are great guys. We're so excited to get back. We leave on Friday. We start hunting on Saturday, so those podcasts will be coming next weekend, hopefully. And we hope that you'll tune in then. Make sure you check out the Heartland Waterfowl online store. A bunch of brand new swag there, shirts, hats, hoodies. And we're going to be announcing a winner at some point once we get some more comments and likes and all of those things. So that's how you get involved by winning every trip that we go on. You have to make sure you follow us on YouTube, hit that notifications bell, and make sure you set a comment. Maybe you got a suggestion on something, you have a question or something you would like for us to talk about, or you just have a smart-ass comment. We accept it all. So put it on there. For Eric Champlin, Deke Champlin, Dakota Thurn, Justin Ches Michaels, Hunter Easley, Quentin Vrlenich, I'm Ronnie Philips. We'll see you next weekend in Oklahoma with S-Bar Outfitters. Toodaloo!